everybody, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world. This is Coast to Coast. We could really use a coffee sponsor because, when I do these hockey games, it'd be nice if someone wanted to put a logo on this cup. Because I definitely need it in the morning.
Did you guys win?
They did. They're still on the outside looking in as far as the wild card spot's concerned, but they did some work against the Islanders, going 4-1. So
Nice.
It looked a little shaky there at the beginning, though. They spent the 6 of the first 8 minutes in the penalty box, and so they were undermanned for a fair amount of the first period. Amazingly, only gave up one goal during that. Their penalty kill was on point, and they seem to be playing with a lot more energy, especially in the third period. And then we got a kind of rare point for our goalie because they pulled their goalie to try and catch up, and he launched one across the ice for an assist. So how about that?
Did you guys see what game was it? Was it Sunday? The goalie fight on Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I love that.
Amazing.
It was the worst fight that I may have ever witnessed, but so awesome that it was two goalies.
Because usually,
Bobrovsky being one of them.
Usually, the goalies that fight are the ones that just come off the bench next to each other. But the fact that Bobrovsky's like, nope, I'm going to drop my stick and skate all the way down.
He went all the way down there, and he was throwing punches. That's the rule. If you are a goalie and you are throwing some punches, and you get in the melee, the other goalie is now allowed to go down. That's the rule. It's an unwritten rule. Especially, Hextall, you're not allowed to cross the center line.
Right.
That's the real rule. You're not allowed to, unless you're going to the bench, because there's sometimes where you're going to the bench and stuff like that, but you don't cross the center line.
How does that work for penalties then? Obviously you get a penalty for fighting, so who sits in the box then for the goalie?
So when goalie fights happen, they put somebody in it's a minor penalty with the goalie.
Okay, so it can be anybody, or they can put even the backup goalie in there.
I would love for them to do 5-on-5, 6-on-6,
no goalie.
with no goalies.
There you go.
Or you got to put in the backup goalie for that 5 minutes. That would be even more fun. Have the goalie sitting in the box with his stick and his pads. That would be hysterical. But it'll never work that way. So they just get somebody who has to sit for them. But that fight, I don't know if any one punch landed.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a good fight for sure, but it was an entertaining fight.
So, but yes, it's just entertaining to watch two goalies wrap around. The best fight I ever saw was Ray Emery, when he was with the Flyers, go down and just destroy whoever it was he was fighting. I don't remember, but I know that was I think it was the Flyers Ottawa game. That was when everybody was fighting. That was a Hitchcock game. That's there wound up being 4 guys on the bench and 3 guys on the bench, and that was it. That was that was the entire team as they finished the game, and that they changed the rules on fighting right after that. No more last 5 minutes of the game. If you get into a fight, it's a game misconduct and an automatic suspension type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Flyers also played last night, and it was great. They're up 2-0. Okay, they scored 2 goals. Okay, we're up 4-2. They score 2 goals and then lose it in overtime.
Red Wings played last night. They beat the Maple Leafs 2-1 in overtime and actually swept the regular season series against the Maple Leafs for the first time since '98.
Oh, okay.
You guys won the cup then.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
I was living in Detroit.
I like those references. Anything that says 98 with the Red Wings is a good reference. So let's just keep racking up the 98 references. 98 and 07, those 2 references are good.
Well, 97, I was living there as well.
Yeah.
And that was a choking situation done by the Flyers. That's what got Terry Murray fired. That was when Eric Lindros won the MVP for the league. and says that we were going to do it and we were going to win a Stanley Cup, and we never won a Stanley Cup.
Rob, there was no fights in our game last night. No real ones, anyway.
Yeah, the Islanders stink out loud. This year,
I mean, they don't, though. They're second in their division. Like, they're a playoff team.
Oh, right now everything is a little haywire. The Flyers were third in their, in their division, and then we decided to forget how to play hockey. It's so very frustrating because the hockey is so much better with the Flyers in it.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's yeah, because oops. Oh, God damn it. There we go. But we knocked them down to third, I guess, last night. But they're 27 and 18 and 5. So I mean, they're not terrible.
No, I mean,
27 and 23 is not too bad.
Yeah, you look at the Eastern Conference as a whole. You have the Lightning, the Hurricanes, and the Red Wings all with 66 points. Canadians with 63, and then there's like a handful of teams in that 57 to 59 range. So the East is actually very competitive top down.
Right.
Yeah, specifically the Atlantic Division. Yeah.
That Atlantic Division is just a gauntlet.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the Avalanche are killing it in the Central, 77 points.
Yeah, they're just killing everything right now. 77, the next closest 65.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, they're just destroying people.
Well, you know what, though? But that's an Avalanche thing to do. Win the President's Cup and lose in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what they do. So be leery of the number 8 team, the second wild card, because they'll be the one that actually winds up knocking out Columbus. Or not Columbus, Colorado.
Yeah.
But
that'd be the Kraken right now. The Kraken are the 8 team.
Did they climb into that final spot?
They moved ahead of the Sharks now.
Oh, okay. I thought they were just still outside.
No, they're tied with the Sharks and Kings for 53 points, but the Kraken have the tiebreaker over both, so the Kraken are the 8 seed right now.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, actually, by winning that game, they keep Toronto out of the playoffs. The Flyers, with a game in hand to a lot of the teams, are 2 points or 3 points out. So they got to win some games.
The thing that's going to be really interesting with the NHL, though, is how these teams handle the Olympic break coming up. Because I believe there's 9 or 10 days left until the winter break, I believe, and then they have 3.5 weeks off. So you have teams like the Colorado Avalanche, so January 31st, February 4th, and then after February 4th, the next game is not until February 23rd. So you have 3 weeks off for the Olympic break. There's a chance that some of these players obviously get hurt in the Olympics that are playing. But it's just teams like Colorado that have just been steamrolling people all year. How do these teams respond from a 3-week break? Do we see some of these teams that are on the outside looking in use this break as maybe just to regroup, and all of a sudden they come back and have a good stretch the second half of the season and make a late season push, and then a team that's been up in the playoffs all year just goes on a massive tailspin because now they don't have the momentum they once had?
No, absolutely, you're going to see that. Anytime there's a break, those kinds of things happen.
Younger teams benefit from these types of breaks.
Mm-hmm.
It's the older teams that have to really, those guys, although most of those guys are playing. Yep. They're on teams. Now, granted, let's say that there is, I want to say 40% of the NHL is from Canada, 30% is from the United States, and 30% is from overseas.
Yeah, like Finland, Sweden, Czech area.
Yeah, the overseas group is all on teams. Anybody who plays is going to play. I got to imagine that Ovechkin and Bobrovsky and all those guys are playing. But aren't they also doing? So I know it's the Olympics. They're not. It's just the Olympics, right? There's no All-Star game then, right?
No, the All Star game is out this year because of the Olympics. Because the All Star game is typically in February.
Yeah, because I actually like it when they do the World Cup now, the way they kind of do it for the All-Star game.
That's kind of what Gary Bettman has said. That's what he plans to stick with. Is that World Cup, and then you add what was that they added this year that Four Nations.
Well, they do the 3-on-3s too.
Yeah,
I like that.
They did that Four Nations tournament this year with Canada,
That's
Finland,
Yeah.
starting in 2027. So not next season, but the season after that, the 2027-2028 season. That's going to be going to the Six Nation Cup because then they're going to have Russia and Czech Republic into that as well because those are also the other two like world teams that have a bunch of NHL talent on it.
Mhm.
So it'll be basically a six league cup as opposed to the 4-team cup that they have right now. And that's they plan to play that every other year, and then same kind of thing with World Baseball Classic. They want to try to get that a lot more frequent than every 4 years, like they have it right now. They want to try to get the World Baseball Classic every other year, and if they do that, it can essentially eliminate some of the spring training games. So instead of having 34 spring training games a year, you can go from 34 spring training games down to 18. You'll have your World Baseball Classic, and the players that don't get invited to like the World Baseball Classic teams, they can stay back at the team's facilities and do like intra-squad scrimmages or just do like scrimmages around different teams just to get their work in. But it allows teams to shorten up the spring training schedule and get to more competitive baseball quicker.
I want to say, Joe, that I think it starts. I think the opening ceremonies are the Saturday of the Super Bowl. Like they do opening ceremonies on that Saturday. Sunday is like the skiing and shooting race
Friday, February 6th is the opening ceremony.
The Friday before, not the Saturday, but I was on the same, in the same day.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense because the last
those initial races and stuff like that for the Super Bowl, they're not going to compete. So like you're going to see very very infrequent, like as I say, it's the where they ski and then they shoot.
Oh yeah. I know what that is. I can't think of what it's called. I know what you're talking about though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the bye.
It's like the relay thing where they ski for like a mile and they got to shoot the targets, and they ski for like another mile and then they got to shoot the targets. And yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Robert, it's not about you though.
Okay, I disagree with that because how many players have actually gotten hurt in the World Baseball Classic? You saw
the Mets.
You saw
like 2 Mets
got
hurt.
you saw more players getting hurt in spring training last year than you did in the actual World Baseball Classic the last time the World Baseball Classic came out. Because like in the World Baseball Classic, these starting pitchers are not.
Thank you, the biathlon. I knew it was by something.
It's not like these pitchers are going out there and throwing 5-6 innings and like 95 pitches in the World Baseball Classic. They're still kind of on a spring training schedule where you throw 3, maybe 4 innings and you're throwing 50-60 pitches. So it's not like they're overworking themselves. They're still keeping themselves on like their spring training routine. It's just that they're facing more competitive hitters across the board as opposed to seeing a bunch of minor leaguers.
So,
yeah, I mean, anytime you have a game, somebody can get hurt.
Yeah.
So, I mean, basically you'd be saying that every all-star game, everything is terrible because someone could potentially get hurt. They could also just fall down getting out of bed and get hurt. So, I mean...
Or you could be like Sammy Sosa in 2001 where he sneezed so hard he threw out his back and missed the month.
Yeah. Exactly. So you had something for us, Pags. What do we got?
I do. So I have a writer that likes to use me as a source. And so most of the time I have different stories for him. He asked me a question, and I was like, you know what? This is a good question to kind of bring up since we have Dustin, who is in the middle of, an Arctic freeze. And I don't know. Like beyond that, like how many trees exploded?
One this morning.
One tree
But
exploded.
it was a little tiny tree that was maybe like this round, so it wasn't like a big tree. It was just like one of those like trees that you'd see on the side of the road.
What does it look like after it explodes? Does it like fold over like this
It's
and like
not like
sticks
it's
to
not like
place?
it gets hit like lightning. So
It's a cartoon. It just whoop.
no, it's not like it is like if you see lightning hit a tree, how like it splits down the middle and kind of peels up and like a banana peel. Basically, it's like if you take a stick on the ground and you bend the stick like this, and then it cracks, and you kind of have like the little split, and then the one end kind of hangs off where you crack the stick. It's essentially
Okay.
like that, where it kind of cracks from the inside out, and then whatever side cracks just kind of pops out the tree like that.
Okay.
So you could actually, at the end of this, you could probably tie it all back together.
Yeah.
Like you push it back up,
Yeah.
get it, and then rope it together, and it'll start to refuse itself. It's like trees are good with stuff like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're not going to do it while it's minus 45 degrees outside.
Which we're gonna have the next 10 days here. We have 7 days where the wind chill's under -25. We have 5 days where the high temperature is -3 or colder. So the next 10 days are going to be freaking pleasant here.
No, I'll take my daytime low of 26.
Yeah, actually, we're warm right now, but we're about to get hit with this winter
Yep.
storm that's coming. That we could get anything from 2 to 72 inches. So it's like and everything is possible. Like there's like to get 72 inches is like 1%. To get 2% is like, or 2 inches is like 1%, and everything in between is like more viable. Like I think that the most we could get is probably like 12 inches realistically, but 72 is on the chart. So anyways, the question that was asked by my buddy Isaac, who is a writer, and I'm sure Dustin, you probably run into some of these things sometimes when you need to make a story for out of nothing. He goes, do I know any local gig workers who will be impacted by the cold and the storm that Philadelphia is coming to? And I was like, you know what? That's actually a really good question to ask for the panel, because I know that here, especially like on Sunday, sports bars, if there's 12 inches of snow on the ground, sports bars are going to really be hurt by that, because this is championship weekend. There's going to be people that usually want to get together and go out and watch these games. This is not different than the Super Bowl, because it's like, hey, we're going to go out to go watch this. Then we're going to go with our buddies and our friends and go to the bar.
Mhm.
Where there we go. Sorry, I know that I just thing there. Where Super Bowl is more of a party atmosphere.
Right.
Yeah.
So everybody's going to parties. So he's like, hey, is Grubhub or Uber and stuff like that. And the first thing I thought of was like, well, sports bars. Sports bars, dive bars, local bars don't, because everybody walks to them.
Yeah.
They get the snow load on. That's a big thing around here, snow load.
Yeah, the one thing I can say is Grubhub is actually going to do really well the next couple of days, because nobody's going to want to leave their damn house. Like, if people want to get stuff, they're going to just order it ahead of time online. They're going to call in and be like, I want this, I want this, I want this. Then obviously, if you have Grubhub or DoorDash, like, they're going to be busy as shit the next couple of days, because no one's going to want to leave their house. So businesses itself are going to do,
as long as they can drive.
Yeah, businesses itself are going to do well in that aspect.
Yeah, if it's it's not like crazy amounts of snow, they'll do great.
I know like around where I live, a lot of the bars are closing at 9 o'clock tonight instead of midnight, because the coldest of the weather is supposed to get here about 11 o'clock tonight and last from 11 o'clock tonight through 3 in the afternoon tomorrow. So a lot of the bars are closing at 9 or 10 o'clock tonight to try to get people home before the cold comes. Instead of opening at lunch tomorrow, they're going to open later in the day to let the super cold air get through the region first before opening. And even at Home Depot for night shift, they're not opening at all Friday night. They're just telling people to stay home Friday night, because if you're leaving your car wide open in a parking lot for 8-9 hours in negative 45-degree wind chill, your car ain't going to start in the morning. That car is just going to be sitting there frozen and toast. So
here's another question for you, Dustin. I don't know what the percentage of homeless in Green Bay is, and in that area of the country. I can't imagine there's many homeless in general because of just the situation. It's like, hey, if I'm homeless, I can walk, and I'm walking south. Um, but there's got to be some. There's got to be some type of percentage. What is done for them in this type of weather?
Green Bay does. I mean, Green Bay has a higher homeless population than some people would think. You just don't notice it like you would in a big city because they're not sitting like on the side of buildings. They're not sitting like under bridges or under overpasses and things like that. But you can tell where the poverty area in Green Bay is and where a lot of the homeless people are kind of in that Green Bay area. But they're obviously you have homeless shelters, but those can only take so many people before like the beds and everything are full. We have a Salvation Army that is in Green Bay, but it's like a big Salvation Army that's used for like education. It's used for a bunch of things like that. They actually open some of the classrooms for extra room in case people need to go inside. A lot of the churches are technically never supposed to close. Like you can always walk into a church any time of night and just get kind of in the lobby area, but you can't go like into the church area. But when it gets this close, like cold, the churches will leave all their doors open. So if people want to come in and just lay on a pew or just kind of lay just somewhere where there's heat, they will let people do that. And then obviously like there's a lot of homeless shelters that will try to just make hot soup throughout the morning. And if they see people outside, they'll just kind of drive around, whether it's to like bus stops, whether it's just to like anywhere that they see people outside, they'll just try to give them like hot soup or hot coffee or something like that.
Yeah,
it's a lot more lenient for these, especially these kind of conditions, because this isn't just like a 1 or 2 day thing. Like this is something that's supposed to last for like 7 to 10 days. Where I hate to say it, but even if you're not homeless, there is a chance that you could become homeless for a couple days during the stretch, because if your pipes freeze and your pipes burst, or if your heater goes out and things like that, you're not going to be staying at home with no heat. You're not going to be staying at home with no water. You might not have a plumber or anybody that can even get to your house the day that this happens if it's that cold. So like you have these situations where people might end up being homeless even for 1 day. But if you're homeless for 1 day in negative 50 degrees, it's probably going to be the last day you're living.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, of course, these are going to have, they're not going to limit themselves to how many beds they have. When you have temperatures like that, you're just trying to get as many people in there as you can. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're not going to be like, well, yes, you have to die. We ran out of cots. Like, I don't think that's going to be the case.
No, they'll probably just like, if it gets to that point.
Floors become bed. Yeah. They don't care. Exactly. It's like the homeless are sleeping out in concrete just in general. So I can't imagine that that's a big deal. And I also got to imagine that even holding cells, like at local police departments, probably also become useful in that regard. It's like, hey, listen, it sucks that we're putting you in a jail cell for the night, but it's better than becoming a popsicle.
And one of our assistant coaches for high school baseball, his brother opened a bar like downtown, and above the bar is like one of those apartments where it's like you have the apartment above the bar, but it's technically 2 separate or 3 separate units, 2 bedrooms each unit, counting living rooms. So that's technically 9 rooms. And when it gets to be this cold, he actually lets like homeless people or people that he sees like outside at night, like stay upstairs free of charge, and he'll give them food from the bar, he'll give them water from the bar, and he'll let them stay there as long as they need to stay there during these kind of cold stretches.
Got you. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I got to imagine there's a lot of people that are charitable, in these types of situations and such. But what are places that you believe will be impacted? So, like, what are places that, because it's this cold and because of the snow, what are your thoughts? Like I said,
retail.
Retail's definitely
retail, because obviously if you don't need to go to the clothing store, if you don't need to go to basically any type of retail business, you're not going to do it. So like retail is going to hurt. Malls, any kind of retail. I think grocery stores are going to be good initially, because I think people are going to want to get as much stuff as they can like the first day that weather gets here. But then, like, maybe the next couple of days after, I think grocery stores are going to suffer because if they lose a lot of product that first day, the shelves are going to be a lot more bare. And then it's going to be like, okay, now what do we do for the next couple of days if nobody's coming in? Then all of a sudden you get a truck to restock your shelves. If people still aren't coming in for a couple of days, they're going to suffer. But I think ultimately the biggest ones are just going to be the family businesses. Like, if you have a family business with not a lot of employees, do you even bother to open? Because you're putting, obviously, people at risk by going to work. And then if you're just going there and nobody's coming in anyways, then it's just like, well, we open for nothing. We're losing money to open because I still got to pay the people that are here. And if no one's going to show up, then it's just kind of losing more money on that side.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I feel like you just set the heat up to 48, so that you don't have your heater overworking in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And just so you keep it warm enough so that the pipes don't freeze.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to imagine out over there are certain levels taken about pipes freezing.
Yeah, like about 40, about where you were that one time, Plymouth, when you were staying over there for the draft. Plymouth put out like a weather bulletin for like all of Sheboygan and Manitowoc County, which is the county that they're in over there. And basically the weather bulletin said, leave all your faucets in your house turned on a 1/4 inch. So like have 2 faucets turned to the cold water, have 2 faucets turned to the warm water, just on enough where the faucet can like constantly drip throughout the night or whatever.
Yep.
And basically what they said is the water department's going to monitor what houses are doing this. So if your faucets are running 3 days straight just with that kind of drip thing, those 3 days will not be counted on your water bill. They'll just cancel this. They'll cancel those 3 days out as if they didn't even exist because they don't want people to have burst pipes. But then if the people don't comply to this weather alert thing or whatever,
and your pipes burst, you're going to get charged.
You're getting charged, and you're getting charged a shit ton more money because they gave you the heads up like, hey, if you leave your water running, you're not going to get charged for the days that the water's running. So if you choose not to do it and your pipes burst, not only are you getting charged, but you're getting charged a lot more.
Yeah, and I got to imagine it's not a drip. You got to have like one of those little,
it can be that or like a really fast
drip, the thin stream that's because you want it moving. The drip is not enough.
If it's like a fast drip though, like the drip, like the constant drip like that. But for the cold water, you want the stream that you're talking about for the cold water pipes. For the warm water, you just want a fast drip. You just want it to drip enough just to kind of keep the pipe warm enough.
See, I look at it the other way. With the cold pipes, you want the drip because hot water freezes faster.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know the whole chemistry part of that and why that occurs, but that's really what happens. It's hot water. Hot water takes a long time to boil. Cold water takes a shorter time to boil. Cold water takes longer to freeze, where hot water does, I guess, that flash freeze.
Right.
So, yeah, I feel like you'd almost want the stream, the thin stream on the hot water, and, just a quick drip. Either way, it's going to look like it's coming out of your faucet in like a pretty continuous stream.
Yeah. It's just gonna affect a lot of things. It's gonna affect a lot of things over here, but the only business that I think will still do fine is the DoorDash and Grubhub side of things for like restaurants or anything, just because no one's gonna want to go out if they don't have to. And if somebody else is willing to drive out there and pick stuff up for you, they're gonna make a good not a good living, but they're gonna make a good week's pay, because I guarantee a lot of these people are gonna tip extremely well. If these drivers are going out there in these conditions, knowing that I didn't want to drive out here, like you don't want to, but it's how you're making your money right now. These drivers are probably going to get paid a lot more in tips than they typically would right now. Like my uncle does DoorDash right now just because he used to drive semi-truck and he ended up having back surgery. So he can't actually drive semi-truck right now. So to make the money, he's got to just do Uber and stuff right now. Typically he makes about $200 and $250 a night, and then good nights he gets about $600. He made $1,100 last night because nobody wants to go out in the cold right now. And he's like, well, I'll go pick your crap up and whatnot. And he gets tipped really well right now.
So, but you don't have a lot of snow on the ground.
We have,
snow on the ground, but the roads are clear.
No, they're not clear. The snow that's on the ground has now frozen. So all the snow on the ground has basically got a layer of ice on top of the snow. So it's like frozen snow that is literally frozen to the blacktop right now. So like we had like
that's
2 inches. We had like 2 inches of snow. The plow came to like plow that top layer off, but then you always have like that layer that kind of sticks to the surface after the plow goes through. That's all
Right.
now frozen over from the cold temperature. So we have like an icy layer of snow that's just going to be stuck there.
Do you guys use a lot of chains?
Not as much as we should, but when it comes to the road salt that we have, like all the salt that we have only works when it's 10 degrees below zero or warmer. So even putting the salt down right now ain't gonna do shit.
No,
No.
right now you put down kitty litter.
Yeah, it ain't gonna do anything right now.
Yeah,
So-
that's where you're literally just dumping sand.
Yeah, that's why people are just kind of getting a little bit nervous too, just because we have like that frozen layer of snow where it's not slippery. You can still drive over it, but it's like you can put salt down right now and it can do shit. Like it's gonna stay there for a while now because it's gonna be just frozen solid.
Yeah.
I'll share it with you guys if you want.
Yeah, exciting stuff.
And
I'll
you can
give-
bet on if everybody wrecks.
So,
If
yeah,
I usually
I'm not going up there to drive.
up to 125% of your first 3 deposits, 10% back guarantee. And of course, if you're here in the Pacific Northwest, QR code right here, free 5-day pass, any of the 3 locations, Bellevue, Ballard, University Village. Find your edge, True Fusion Gym. All right, let's talk about some sports.
Wouldn't you want to do some hot yoga right now? Hot
Yes, I
yoga
would.
right now in Green Bay.
I would love hot yoga right now.
So
What is Seattle doing to prepare for the upcoming NFC Championship game?
we are ruining every traffic pattern possible. We've decided to shut down 2 lanes of I-5, which drives through the heart of the city, because we're going to do some road construction over the next 2 years, which this is aptly timed for, this championship game and, of course, the World Cup next year. So they basically are going to make it infinitely harder to get around the city. So good on DOT for always doing the wrong thing when it comes to traffic in Seattle.
Well, I will tell you that as of right now, the cheapest ticket to get into the game is up in section 319 and is $700.
Okay, that's actually not as bad as I was
So
imagining.
$700 to go to that game.
And yes, Joe.
Now, if you want to get into the 100 level,
sorry, there's a
yes.
weird delay.
Chardonnay's gone, isn't he?
Yeah, he's done for
your
the
running
year.
back. Got an ACL.
Yep.
I just sent
So you can get in the 100 level right now for as little as $864.
Okay.
And if you wanted to get within the first 3 rows, these prices are actually great. Right now in the first, I want to do this in the right way. The first 3 rows in the end zone, you can get in for about $1,600. Front row being $1,650 is the cheapest I see. Which is
That's actually
amazing.
That's surprisingly cheap because some of those prices are not that much different than a normal game.
Yeah, I mean $1,650 for front row seat, like the first row. Yeah,
No,
that's pretty amazing. That's 2 seats right there near the opposing tunnel. Yeah, it's near the opposing tunnel.
That's actually kind of amazing.
Yeah, I agree. And there's 2 seats available for that. There is section 111, which is on the visitor's side, around the 20-yard line. That's going. They have 12 tickets available for $2,300 each.
Yeah, that's because it's gonna be cold.
Right.
It's not going to be like Green Bay cold, obviously, but it's going to be.
I sent you guys a picture of what the lighthouse dock looks like in Green Bay this morning.
Oh, nice.
With like the water just coming over the side.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, I'll be watching from a sports bar. Like that's it's always cool when you see stuff like that. There's also one over by Lake Michigan.
Yep.
That does that also.
Yeah, it's like the water just like comes over and like instant freezes as soon as it hits like the dock or hits like the breakwater, just instant freeze and then it just stays like that.
Yeah, I can't put it on the screen. That is a huge pain.
And to give you the prices of the AFC Championship game, the cheapest price to get in right now is in the 500 level, and it's $477.
That's cheap.
Very cheap.
How much snow are they supposed to get up there?
In Denver? Not any.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's in Denver. I was thinking it was in New England. Never mind. Yeah.
And for first row seats in the 100 level, you can get them for as low as $1,500. So that is actually really well done. In that regards, I'm thinking that's crazy, actually.
Yeah.
Super Bowl tickets, just to give you that heads up, since we're talking about ticket prices. And I'm using TickPick as the thing because TickPick is the best place to be able to get tickets. Right now, the tickets have gone down in price.
You got to drop your reference code. Somebody might want to spend $700.
No, I don't have the reference code yet.
Oh, gotcha.
I have it for the Super Bowl, but I don't have it for these games. It's only for Eagles games at the moment. So,
gotcha.
It's taking a second to load up here. So, okay, the cheapest price right now to get into the Super Bowl is $5,700, which is down from $6,000. And that stadium sucks. It looks ridiculous.
Bet you any money if San Francisco to beat Seattle, the Super Bowl prices would be a little bit higher right now.
For what now?
If San Francisco were to beat Seattle, since San Francisco's hosting the Super Bowl, I bet you the Super Bowl prices would be higher if Seattle would have lost last week.
No, I don't think so. Weirdly, Niners fans are inconsistent on showing up to stuff.
Yeah. A lot of fans are like that now, though. I don't think it has to do with I don't think it has to do with they don't support the team. I just think it's the cost of games now where it's like I'd rather watch it from my house and not pay the prices that I got to pay for food and drinks and parking and tickets, even if the team's doing well.
Well, yeah. I mean, when you think about it, it's like, okay, if you have a ticket that's $800, you can put on pretty solid party for $800. Exactly. And that was one ticket. You hadn't parked or ate or done anything yet. So yeah, I always kind of look at those games that way because I'm like, oh, like we could go big and throw everything away and still save money.
That was like the Packer Viking game at Lambeau Field last year. I think the average ticket price was like $600 for that game, and it was like 27 degrees and snowing. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'll just sit in my living room for $40 with food that I buy, and I'm good.
Well, and I mean, let's be honest. On TV, you can see better.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's nothing that takes over the experience of going to the game, the atmosphere, like all of that. Second to none when you get in the stadiums. But if you actually just want to watch, all the TV angles is way better.
I agree. Yeah, and it's always a lot more comfortable.
For sure. And you can use the bathroom whenever you want, which is nice, as opposed to peeing on yourself like they do in Green Bay, apparently.
Exactly. I tell you, as I'm looking at Super Bowl prices to try to get what it would be to be in the lower bowl
Yeah,
or anything.
it's always tough to spend crazy money and then lose.
Yeah.
When you, especially if you lose bad, like if your team just gets smacked and you're like,
Oh,
I just
God,
spent
yeah.
$1,500 to be here today.
Yeah, but I've done that
Oh, of course.
plenty of times, actually.
We've all done it. We've all gone to that beat down that you're like, wow, I should have stayed home. But at the same time, we've also been to the ones where you just
interestingly enough,
beat off of someone.
yeah, like our last couple of NFC Championship games have been great for
Yep.
us. When we made it there, we destroyed them.
Yep.
Both times was awesome. The only game that I have been to that was a complete destruction on the other side. I mean, I've been to losses and I've been to big losses, but interestingly enough, was against Seattle. And I don't know if you remember the 40-8 game. Like Sean Alexander, the whole offense ran for it was like 68 yards and scored 40 points against us in the snow on a Monday night football game. That game sucked so bad. It snowed. And then I remember walking out at the end of the game. My truck was broken into. It sucked that bad. But there was two scores. Yeah, two scores on special teams, 3 defensive scores, and your offense had 68 yards in total offense and scored 40 points. It was like the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard.
Yeesh.
I don't know if you guys remember that in Seattle.
It's funny because Seattle always plays really well in the snow for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
If it's snowing, just historically, Seattle does well. I love a snow game. Like snow games are fun. Now, when it's driving rain, those are miserable. But I don't mind being in the snow.
Got you. There are seats for $20,000.
Yeah, like what do we do?
Super Bowl.
What do we do? Right. I mean, I get it. If you can afford that, you want it, capitalism. Good for you. I don't think there's any scenario where I want to drop 20 grand a seat.
No,
that doesn't make any sense to me.
No,
Rob, no. You guys may have beat us 42-0 at one point. I don't know that for certain. The game I'm talking about, the score was 40-8. I'll never forget it. Like I said, there are so many things about that night that I will never forget. You know, staying for the entire game sucked. The guy who broke into my truck for nothing. I think the only thing that was taken out of my truck was a 4-foot level that I had in the back, like the back window.
Mm-hmm.
They broke the middle part of the window, which you think would be the easy part to do, because it's just that slider. No, you got to replace the whole friggin' window because of that. If you broke one of the sides, it'd have been easier to replace that part. But the middle part is the part that screws you over. So you got to replace the whole friggin' thing. All to steal a 4-foot level. I would have left the truck open. You could have taken the 4-foot level. I got 8 of them.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I was gonna go.
I've had a car broke into that it was unlocked, and then they broke the little wing window in the back door, which was almost impossible to find. And they tried to pry my stereo out of its own case, but I hadn't even installed it yet. I was just sizing it up. And so if they would have just grabbed it, it would have ripped right out of the dash. But instead, they pried it out of its own case and destroyed the radio. And so then they stole the face, and that was it. And I'm like, you guys, not only was the car open, but the stereo wasn't even installed, and where you broke in, you climbed over the uninstalled amp and speakers that were just down in the footwell. I was like, these are the dumbest criminals ever.
Well, I got one better for you. So we stayed at a hotel in Milwaukee, and not like the nice area of Milwaukee, like a rundown part of Milwaukee once for a baseball trip, obviously. And somebody's car got broken into, and they had like a custom CD. This was back when CD players were in cars. So they had like a custom CD player. They took the original, just regular AM FM radio out, put in like that custom CD player in there, and the person
you
tried.
say that like all my cars don't still have CD players. Like,
Well, most cars now have like satellite radio. Like most cars have satellite radio where you can't buy them even with like a CD changer anymore. But the guy that broke into the car tried to take the CD player out. He must have hit the wire that's attached to it because he ended up like shocking himself. And then he sued the guy because he got shocked by the radio.
that doesn't even make sense. It's a 12-volt system. Like you don't even get hurt by that because there's not enough amperage.
I know it was a very rundown area. Trust me, there's some very dumb people over there. I was gonna say this. I was gonna mention this to you guys yesterday, but did you see the Kirk Signetti meme?
I mean, there's a lot of them, so you got to narrow
So
it down.
if you go to Google and in the search bar you type in the phrase Google Signetti, he has his own meme that comes out that says "I win, Google me."
Oh, I mean,
That is the greatest thing ever.
that makes sense. That makes sense.
Love it.
So since we mostly haven't talked about sports, let's go ahead and touch on one. So Aiyuk, a lot of speculation whether or not he was going to be back in San Fran. You have John Lynch now on camera saying he's played his last snap here in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
As poorly as this went, has he played his last snap in the NFL?
No,
because
there is a
that seems like a case maybe teams don't want to get into, especially because when he's been out there, he hasn't been good.
There's a trade being discussed right now, and I'm interested to see how far it goes. 49ers and Minnesota are discussing a Jordan Addison, Brandon Aiyuk 1-for-1. Because Brandon Aiyuk obviously is probably done in San Francisco. I think John Lynch already said he's done in San Francisco.
He did, yeah.
And Jordan Addison can't stay away from getting in trouble with the police. So Minnesota's kind of done with his dumbass in Minnesota, so they're trying to get rid of him too. So why not just do a 1-for-1 swap? At least Niners would get a receiver, Minnesota would get a receiver.
I guess you're right. It was 42-0. I went to look it up. I thought we scored 8 points in that game for some reason. But I just remember Sean Alexander with like 3 touchdown runs of like 1 and 2 yards, so many turnovers, and like 3 pick sixes happening in that game. It was 42-0. Yes, and it was on a Monday night. I thought it was 40-8. For some reason, I had 40-8 stuck in my head. I guess somebody else kicked our asses by that number.
And then, like, with Brandon Aiyuk, too, Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, who's the Vikings GM, has previous experience working with John Lynch in San Francisco. So I think he was one of the salary cap managers when he was in San Francisco under John Lynch. So at least, I think if they did a trade like that, it would just be a 1-for-1. Like, we want to get rid of our headache. You want to get rid of your headache. Here, let's swap.
Yeah. Well, and I wanted to make sure, because you're on here today, Pags, I wanted to drop the tinfoil hat segment. Might as well wrap it up with this. Is the power station that's next to the stadium there in San Francisco. They getting enough buzz around the potential of it causing injuries that apparently, even on camera, John Lynch is like, yeah, we're going to look into everything and see if there's something to it. So here we go.
But that's what we said, right? Like, we talked about that. Like, it was like, it's eventually, that was a smackdown. It's like they said, hey, this is causing all these issues and all of these problems. And there's too much data saying so. John Lynch finally had to say, yeah, I think we're going to look at that.
Yeah,
There's all the power lines.
What's
The
that?
power lines, all those power lines that creates that. It gives you, like, if you get enough of that, like, electromagnetic, going through your body, it's going to create problems.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's why they tell you not to buy houses under high tension wires and stuff like that. So I mean, it's there's a lot of studies that say that weird things happen. They can never quite technically tie it to it, but they're like, oh, there's just a higher density of these issues around these things. We don't know why, but then you go over with the meter, and you can, as soon as you're at the edge of the facility, it's like 3 times higher than it's supposed to be, and all of that. So I'm not sure what it is they would be able to do to block that. I mean, build a giant wall, Faraday cage style.
You can't even really do that because it would actually destroy that wall over time.
Sure.
Hey, you know what? They always got really good ideas out there in San Francisco. That's not even tinfoil hat stuff, though. I mean, that's real stuff.
No, I mean, again, there's a lot of studies that, there's always weird health issues anytime there's high tension wires around. You get next to, substations and stuff. It's amplified. So
Yeah.
it's funny.
They found out all this stuff.
Well, it's funny because they're like, oh, no, this has all been debunked. It's like, well, that's funny because these anomalies are weirdly on these straight paths next to these wires. It's crazy.
Right. Exactly. And on top of that, like, there's so many different, like, the vet, amongst everything else, other than known to be one of the worst playing surfaces in all of professional sports, the stuff that they were using on the carpet was causing cancer. That they determined that it was like because they didn't use the rubber pellets like they do now.
Yeah.
And even those rubber pellets are still cause for concern because the dust that comes up from them rubber pellets is one of those chemicals that is can never leave your body type stuff and can create cancer and such. So, but they determined that some of that was the reason why Darren Dalton had got brain cancer and things like that and stuff like that, and they don't use that type of astroturf anymore at all. So science wins always.
Absolutely.
But was it in 4 years? Is it in 4 years? They every stadium is going to wind up having
grass.
Natural grass.
Yeah. Well, I know a couple of them that have been, big proponents to not do it or having to put it in for the World Cup anyway. So,
right. Like, for instance, Jerry's World.
Yeah. Same with
they got to
MetLife.
Put in natural grass for that.
MetLife has to. Seattle has to. So, in those scenarios,
MetLife surprises me that they never did in the first place.
Right.
I mean, MetLife said, hey, listen, we want to have the same thing that the vets had for a long time. So we're going to make the worst stadium possible.
Yeah.
For our guys, for everybody.
If there was a stadium that was going to be like, nope, we're going back anyway, even though we had to put all of this in, it would be MetLife. They'd be like, oh, this great surface, we're going to pull it out and put our garbage back in.
Paige, you guys are bringing in the Bears offensive coordinator today for an interview. Declan Doyle.
Okay.
All 28 years old of them.
I mean, if you can do the job.
That's interesting. I think that they're waiting to see Denver's. They want to talk to Denver's offensive coordinator or Denver's run or passing game coordinator.
Did you see the Brian Flores contract?
No, I didn't see the details on it.
So it's a very interesting contract. I don't know how it's going to work, but Brian Flores has agreed to an extension with the Vikings.
Okay.
Unless he gets a head coaching job.
Okay.
So basically, it's like, here's your extension. Here's what we're giving you. If you agree to it, we'll still let you interview to see if you get hired as a head coach. But if you don't get the head coach opening, would you come back here? And he signed it. I think it said like 5 years at $10 million per year to be the DC. So I mean, if he's not going to get a head coaching job, he's just going to go back to Minnesota. So it's a good contract for him because he's going to be making more than a third of the league's head coaches.
Yeah. And Rob, we'll save baseball for tomorrow. We only got 4 minutes left.
Yeah, the Mets making moves. The Mets are really good at Metsing it up. So they can make all the moves they want. They will still wind up being just the Mets.
I don't want to bog down a show with like actual meaningful stuff when it's been nonsense the whole time.
Right, exactly. So, but yeah, the Phillies are just running it back.
So that is an interesting contract. That's not really that crazy though. They do it for, players in other leagues where they're like, here's the contract unless you get brought up to the NFL.
Yeah. I just never heard it for coordinators usually. I usually hear it for like players, but to have it for like a coordinator, that just goes to show like how bad Minnesota wants to keep him, where it's like, we're going to give you as much money as we possibly can. Here's the contract, and you can have it unless you get a head coach job.
Yeah, but I mean, they do that for players if you're playing in.
I'm surprised Pittsburgh didn't give a qualifying offer to him.
He's got a second interview with Pittsburgh today.
Yeah.
And then he's got a second interview with Baltimore tomorrow. That's why I think it's more so those are the two teams that are going to ultimately decide if.
So that's really what it comes down to. That's why they said, "Hey, listen, it's $10 million for you to stay here. That's your floor."
Yeah.
So they have to come with. Yeah, that's actually smart on his part.
Yeah.
Like that's that. There's a reason for that. Like it's like, okay, go big or go home. I am not coming here. Yeah, for $10 million to be the head coach or the $10 million to be the defensive coordinator, I'll go be the defensive coordinator for $10 million because it's a lot less responsibility.
Yep. That's why Minnesota gave him that offer, because he interviewed for Washington's defensive coordinator position. He interviewed for 2 other defensive coordinator positions, and Minnesota didn't want to risk losing him to like another team for basically the same type of position. So they made sure they gave him an offer where it's like, you're either going to be a head coach or you're coming back here to be the DC. We don't want to go against your defense. We'd rather have you create the defense.
Yep.
Yeah, it's I thought that the Eagles would go after somebody like a Marty Morningweg or one of these guys that like Vic Fangio. That they're just tired. They're tired of having this carousel at offensive coordinator.
I see you guys go after Gary Kubiak.
That could be too. I was surprised they didn't ask Frank Reich.
I was going to say Frank Reich too. I just don't know if Frank Reich wants to coach right now because he's getting paid. What is he getting paid by Carolina right now? Like $9 million a year just to kind of sit at home and do nothing right now.
Yeah, but that's beside the point.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's like it's competition. Those guys never want to stop, and he was really good, and he did have a real good rapport with Sirianni. So I think it would be odd to see, because it was Reich Sirianni before, and now it's going to be Sirianni Reich. So maybe that's the reason why he's not. But
one name I would watch with Philadelphia in the coming days is possibly Joe Brady.
I am, and I wish that they, the media is making a big deal. Like, hey, the last time the offensive coordinator was in town, they threw eggs at his house, and that's why nobody wants to be an offensive coordinator here. I'm like, so ridiculous. That's not the case, but whatever.
We appreciate all of you that hung on for this unique show today. please like this one, I guess. And otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. We'll actually talk about sports tomorrow. And yeah, so we'll see you then. Take it easy, everybody.
Peace.